Okay. Alright, I'm ready. You guys ready?
Sure.
Alright, who would like to begin their interview first?
Duke, do you want to take this one away?
You can go first.
Alright, fine. I guess I'm going first.
Alright, well, before we properly begin the interview, let's introduce the world. We are going to be playing, in some time now, in a white box, heavily homebrewed, campaign, and it is going to be set in the setting of the Weeping Earth. This world once was highly magical and highly technical, and there was just essentially everything anyone could wish for. It was the highest form of society, and then it was all destroyed one day. None of our heroes know why it was destroyed or what the world was like, as that was hundreds of years ago, and we now pick up with our heroes living in the aftermath of another society being truly destroyed, the Methanian region. The Methanian region itself was a small valley in between a mountain range in which not just one community reigned, but multiple communities lived in unison. Now it has been destroyed by the warlord known as the Hard Eater. We will begin play, not today, in 15 years' time after that, where now the world is once more split up. Now, let's zoom back in to the Methanian region. Ditri. What was Ditri's... Could you introduce Ditri in terms of his time during living in Methan and such?
Ditri, I think, was about... Well, he was very young.
Mm-hmm.
Kid age, if you would say. He was very lonely. He didn't have great parents. They kind of just didn't pay attention to him. They were too busy in their own work.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really know what that was, but something says that whatever they were doing wasn't really the best for what was going on at the moment. They weren't helping to repair what was around them. They were more just kind of like doing their own thing that seemed dangerous, really, to the environment and everything around it. He himself, however, had one close person to him, which was his sister, who always seemed to carry around their signature weapon,
Mm-hmm.
a gun belonging to the family as an heirloom, getting passed down each generation. And she would take that with her along missions. He didn't know where the missions went, but he knew that it had to do with, I think, probably the jobs that the parents also did.
Yeah. Is that most
Sister is very important.
That's
basically his childhood. Yeah,
Alright, yeah.
He also suffered from a lot of what's it called, separation issues and not being able to trust people now because of it.
Yeah.
Just from being both separated from his sister after she had died, and then also just being neglected by his parents.
Definitely. So Ditri, during his time in Methan, he was a part of the ruling class, right?
Yeah, I'd say he's pretty high up there.
Definitely. Does that mean that his family, even though they didn't really care about helping the world, that probably meant they led like a village. What was it like to be like the child of a nobility that ran like one of the villages in Methan? Like,
well, obviously for him, specifically, it was very sad because they were very busy with other shit. They couldn't pay attention to him, and he just wanted to live in a normal family where he could have a normal life with normal people.
definitely. Did you like? Did he ever like wish to like go down to the regular village folk and just like live like them, essentially?
He did, but he wasn't allowed, as his
Yeah.
parents would not let him near them. Not saying that as like
Yeah.
they're dirty or filthy, but just being like, no, we don't want you living that life. You're supposed to live nobly, and you're supposed to respect what you have and enjoy it.
Definitely. And then with that, did Ditri have any idea of what his parents' goals were? Did he see the horrible things they did? Did they do sorcery? Did they do something worse?
He did. I think at one point he probably would have seen something really weird. He didn't know what they were doing, but he saw some purple glowiness and maybe the outside of what looked like probably a portal, I think.
Definitely. like his parents summoned this?
He doesn't know if they did or not, but he knows that they were using them for their jobs, quote unquote.
Oh, I see. Somehow using these odd portals. And with that being said, what is like a memory that Ditri would have maybe of his sister, do you think?
Maybe when he was, I don't know, pretty young, 6, 7, she would maybe try to take him out to the courtyard. Of course, broken, since nothing would be fixed after the real fight. But it would be somewhat repaired from what they could do, and it would just look beautiful. And it's the closest he ever got to being where the town was, just trying to live in the environment and not be trapped in that rich estate.
Yeah. Definitely. So then, after all of this, like, you know, around the age of 6, 7, maybe 8, after the town had captured one of the Hardier's forces and killed him, a sorcerer who used human hearts to cast spells, the town, all of Mathon was burnt to the ground in a single pitched battle as the Hardier just took them out throughout the night. What was that like for Ditri? What happened afterwards?
Ditri felt bad for them. He wanted to live like them, and because some of what he wanted had been destroyed, he felt a lot of sympathy and empathy, and he asked for his parents to maybe help with the recovery. They didn't seem to care too much. They were too busy with what they had done at that point.
Definitely. And so after that, Mathon kind of fell apart. What happened during that fallout with his family, do you think?
They grew a lot more distant, and the sister became kind of worried about what would happen in the future, as they knew they wouldn't be really safe anymore if they kept neglecting their responsibilities with the whole town.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so then 15 years went by. What were those 15 years like?
Hold on, the timeline is weird. Sorry, because he's supposed to be 12 when he's running away.
Or, I mean, it could have happened. I mean, who knows? You said 6 or 7, so I just assumed. So if he was 12 during the attack, that doesn't matter. Don't worry.
Alright, so during what you just... What just describe it again?
So
15 years later?
So, I mean, like, then, you know, everyone ran from Mathon because it was ruled by the Hardier, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned he ran away, so he runs away from his family. Do you want to detail him running away?
Yes, I do. He runs away from his family because of the death of his sister. Really having no one, he just decides to run. And he doesn't know how his sister died. He just knows that one day, she sat with him, had a talk with him, told him, take this gun, it will protect you, and protect it at your own life if it has to, if you have to.
Yeah.
And that's the last time he ever saw her, talked to her, and he decided to run away with it. And I think about a week after, that's when everything really hit the head. It, like, went to shit.
Definitely. And so then everything went to shit, as you said.
Yeah.
And 15 years go by with him traveling from settlement to settlement. What were those 15 years like?
He went from group to group, people to people, every which one dying. He defended himself with his gun, not knowing the power of it, but just knowing how to pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
He had no idea what he was doing, but all he knew is that he had to live. And over time, his attachment issues grew more and more apart from his personality, because he kept losing people. Or I guess closer to his personality, sorry.
Yeah.
Because he just kept losing people, and he realized he couldn't rely on them anymore. And I think, what is it? After it started, like the real attack with the Heart Eater, he met, what's her name? Robin's character.
Yeah, Robin's character. Let me. Arlene.
He met Arlene. They fought together for a bit. him being 12, her being 10. They traveled for 1 to 2 years, and he went up and left because he didn't really think she was going to make it, and he didn't want the pain and loss of losing her.
Oh, I see.
So he just thought if he left, it would be easier than just having her die with him.
All right.
Because he had gotten used to it at that
Yeah.
point.
All right. Awesome. And then finally, and not so finally, so you've now joined this party through some way or another. We don't need to get into those specifics, but in joining this party, who wants to kill the Heart Eater but kind of needs to grow this community, what's his perspective on the group?
His perspective is that this is another temporary thing. It's not going to be permanent because they might die or they might not. He doesn't really know, but he's just figuring that it's probably going to end bad, as he always does. But as it turns out, he did meet with Arlene again, proving that his ideas may be wrong or flawed, and because of this, he's already starting, with his attachment issues, he's starting to become attached to Arlene.
Oh, I see.
Because 2 weeks before they got up with the group, he met with Arlene, and then they fully combined.
Awesome. Duke, from listening to this, do you have any questions for Ditri?
I do not.
That's okay. So then, yeah, to summarize your stuff, Ditri grew up very lonely with this mysterious, noble, rich family. He wanted to live among the village folk, but because of this strangeness that his family held, they kept him away, forcing him to try to live this noble life. He only had one close friend in his sister, who carried this odd gun, and she would leave on missions to help their parents' almost certainly nefarious goals. And even worse, one time Ditri had seen his parents working on or summoning or somehow using an odd, glimmeringly purple portal.
That's exactly what I was imagining.
And so, Then, when the Heart Eater attacked, Ditri felt horrible for it, but he saw his family abandon them, the people of Mathon. His sister then gave him the gun, and in some mysterious way died. He ran because of this, losing connection with his family, and over the time of 15 years, Ditri went from group to group, using nothing but his gun. Death and failure following him all the time, and now he has nothing but attachment issues. Now he has met up with an old friend, someone he thought would certainly have died, and he's joined this group to take on the person that destroyed Mathon, to maybe form a new community. What would you say would be a big point of conflict for your character? Like, and you've listened into the other points of conflict. So points of conflict, it's not like it's like an issue that might commonly come up, or a big issue, like maybe with yourself, maybe with something else. It can be we've seen it going for as external with Pugger, where it's like, oh, a lot of people want to fight my character, to something so internal as to something so internal as like Zax, with it just being his character, like being depressed. What would be some big so what do you think would be some big points of conflict for Ditri?
I'd say because he doesn't want Arlene to see anything, or because he just doesn't want people to see anything in general. He holds in his emotions a lot. Of course, channeling power, which is through the gun as an underbarrel attachment, so it goes right from him into the catalyst, which is the gun. And because of that, I guess people, specifically Arlene, would be upset at him. And he also has trouble with, I guess, just parting with things, and yeah, it's hard to say goodbye for him, especially if he gets attached. But not if it's easy. Like, if he had just met someone and it's not that important to him, then yeah. But if he had spent a lot of time with someone or something.
Do you have an idea of maybe even another point of conflict? Even something more external?
External. Give me an example.
An example? So, for example, I really like. I at first was kind of confused by how I would work this in, but I'm starting to work on it. I really liked how Pugger was like, oh, I beat up a lot of people and challenge them, and a lot of people just fucking don't like me, and so they might come up and challenge me. So that could be like an external threat. For you, it could be like when he learned something about his family, or like, you know, something like that.
Oh, like a blinding rage. He'd like red in his eyes. He fights anything around him.
Well, it could be like that, but more like something less like just in your mind, and maybe even like threats that might commonly come at your character that he might commonly see. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you can think of another point of conflict, that's great.
I got one.
Not, yeah?
I say that if he feels anger, too much anger, then the gun doesn't listen to him.
Oh, shit. Maybe to make it even more broad and cool, when he feels too much of any emotion, the gun doesn't listen to him, because that would really...
Because it's not the gun's not used to responding with him for a lot of emotion.
Okay.
Because he either holds it in, or he doesn't feel at all.
Alright.
So if it would just think it was someone else using it.
That's great. Yeah, with that being said, do you have anything else you want to say about Ditri? Any other points of conflict you can think of? Any other details?
I think I just want to add that Ditri's been experimenting and trying to handle the gun better over time.
Yeah.
He's also been trying to learn of the origins because it doesn't look familiar. And obviously it's a gun, which isn't very common.
Not at all. Alright.
No.
Sounds cool.
That's about it.
I like that. Alright, Duke, are you ready?
Yes, perfect.
Alright, so I've already introduced the setting. We don't have to do that much. So let's begin with what was Toadflax's time in Mathon like? What role did he play within the society? You know, what was his experiences within Mathon?
Toadflax's experiences were probably overall negative in most aspects, besides the points of small silence that he could achieve working out in the wilds. My guess was he was either a shepherd or some sort of animal caretaker forced to work out in the wilds by force of, like...
Yeah, he was a criminal slave, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Criminal slave, shepherd, mostly negative, yet he did find... Yeah, what else did you want to say?
Toy out there by, threats, but would enjoy silence and the animals and the nature, but he was always worried about a sudden death from his masters.
That makes sense. So, just because I haven't really thought about shepherds, although they certainly would be interesting, do you think in the world we live in, is it common for people to shepherd sheep, or would there be some other sort of animal?
I would guess goats, because they're really hardy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because, yeah, so he shepherded goats, as most people do. What crime did he commit to get this role?
He stole a backpack of supplies.
He stole a backpack of supplies? Dude?
I said yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, you cut out for a moment. Alright. Yeah, so that was his... Do you want to add any more details?
And a medium-sized bag of supplies for maybe a well-funded trader and maybe an outpost humans. He was gonna go try to find maybe a young child that went missing, and maybe a poor mother came to him for help, but he had no supplies with him, so he's gonna steal the backpack to help find the kid, but he got caught and sent to the fields instead.
I see.
Can I say something about this?
Yeah.
I just think at first I thought like he stole one bag of supplies and then was immediately sent to the fields for a while. And then I thought with how severe the weather is and the resources, one bag being stolen could like
Yeah.
fuck shit up
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to note, while they are slaves, right, and criminals, the Mathon was noted for its relative kindness. Not saying it was ever nice to be a criminal slave, but it does, like, being a shepherd makes a lot of sense for a criminal slave. Criminal slaves would not typically be like miners or something. They would do something that would specifically like help the community to like adjust back for their crimes. And so I really like the addition of you being a shepherd. Like, actually, that's really cool. Actually, I like that a ton. Because I imagine them mostly being farmers. I didn't even think of shepherds. Does anyone have any questions about his time in Mathon? I'm gonna put it... I didn't realize, like, everyone was in this chat. Does anyone have any questions, though? It's okay if not.
No. I like how all these guys are.
How long was he a slave for?
Oh, that's a good question.
20 years.
20 years. Alright.
25 years, roughly.
25 years. Alright. How old is he?
Like 43, I think.
43. Alright. So then the Heart Eater attacked. During this attack, all of Mathon was destroyed. You certainly were able to escape. What is his perspective on the Heart Eater's attack?
Positive.
Positive. Does he like the Heart Eater, or does he just like that he...
No, he likes the outcome, but he does not like the Heart Eater themselves. Just the fact that he can now hunt and wander the wilds without the threat of being killed for going too far out.
I will say, you definitely do know that he did probably kill your entire, well, or at least most of your, like...
Yeah, he murdered that mother.
No, he murdered
and that child if he got saved.
Most of the flock of, or whatever you say.
That kid was eaten by ogres.
Yeah.
Single mother then.
He murdered her and everyone else that could ever be good. He likes the freedom. All right. Anything else do you want to say about the Heart Eater's attack?
Probably, I'm guessing I probably wasn't there for most of it. I was probably out separating, and I saw the smoke and the sounds, and then no one ever came to check up on the flock as I was separating, so I probably separated for a few more months until I realized no one was ever going to come, and then I fed my goats well and let them go into the wilds, and I would follow after them into the wilderness.
Alright. Definitely. Yeah, he was definitely able to easily escape. Then after that, 15 years passed. What were those 15 years like for him?
So, what do you mean?
So 15 years passed after the attack. What were those 15 years like? After that attack, after the destruction of Mathon, after he was no longer a criminal slave. Like, what did he do?
He traveled across most of the wilderness hunting ogres and giants, almost as a repentance for not getting to help the child from his youth. And he would live amongst hills and valleys, tracking them for days and months, slowly carving away at war bands.
Alright.
And just being completely sufficient and living, sleeping, and hiding in the land.
Alright. Definitely. Does anyone have any questions about those? What happened during those 15 years? Any additions, ideas that they could add for their character?
No, I'm okay.
Alright. Do you have anything else to add about this 15 years, Duke?
Probably looking for a place to settle, but didn't find one, so I just kept on hunting.
Definitely. Alright. So, with that being said, now you have, somehow, in a way that you can detail or not, you have joined this group whose goal is essentially to specifically hunt down the Heart Eater. They, of course, everyone in this group kind of still is reeling and kind of needs community, including you in many ways. But what is your perspective on the group as a whole? Like, they want to hunt down this Heart Eater. They're probably all misfits like you. What do you think his perspective is on traveling with a group and such?
It's another group of young hunters. We've seen many of them throughout his hunting career.
Alright. Do you have anything else to say on that?
He's helped hunters before, so he's helping hunters again. And he thought he might as well keep traveling, because he's still gaining ground and seeing the world.
What happened to those hunters that he helped before?
Some died, some thickened out, some hunted some small game, but never went after giants like Toadflax. But
Alright. Okay. Then, with that being said, I'm gonna send all of his info to the chat. Does anyone have any additions, any connections for their character, or questions that they might have for Toadflax?
I could have seen the one sister, maybe she went off into the wild and I caught a glimpse. That's just me.
What'd you say?
The one sister, maybe I caught a glimpse of her out in the wilds or something.
Oh.
Not that I would remember very much about it, since I wouldn't think much of it.
Yeah, was
just for
was it clear that she died, or was it...
It was very clear that she's... I mean, okay, alright. He doesn't know if she's dead. But it's implied that she's dead, that she is
She's
dead,
definitely
but
dead
she
now.
could.
But, like, is it that she went off on her own to go and die, or...
She went off on her own to do a mission. She probably died.
Definitely.
That's what it was.
Okay.
But she went without her gun, meaning she did most likely die.
Okay, so Toadflax, what was the meeting with his sister like then? Toadflax.
Not very much of a meeting. I'm probably guessing Toadflax was rested in his entire suit, so if we're using endgame rules, he'd be invisible until he made an attack. So he's probably just sitting there, sitting out with Skull Hanks, his bed, and was just resting when a lady walked by briskly, maybe through the brush, looking intent. And we just thought it was kind of odd, because he was maybe like way out in the boonies.
Definitely. Cool. Then, with that being said, to end this off, what are some points of conflict that Toadflax would have?
Rich hunters who go after giants.
What hunters?
Rich hunters.
Rich hunters.
Like sports hunters and hunting guilds that maybe send out young hunters with no experience and just watch too many die. Or over-equipped hunters who sit on hillsides and use like ancient enchanted weaponry to kill ogres and such with no skill.
Okay. What would be another one that you could think of?
Upper class people in general.
Alright. Can you think of any more?
I think that'd be about it. Really.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that'll be good, I think. Why is he going after the Hardinger? Because it doesn't seem like he has much of a goal or reason to.
He's helping out a group of young hunters, and he doesn't mind trying to find a new place to live.
Okay. Sounds good.
So he's not exactly convicted to killing the Hardy, though. He's connected to helping this group of young hunters.
Alright, why would he be connected to that in specific? Like, specifically this group? Because it seems like
He's followed many groups before, and he hasn't really had a rhyme or reason to it. And maybe the last group he helped died to ogres and giants, so he wants this group to be more safe.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'll add that in. Alright. So with that being said, the interviews shall be over for the most part, and we can could start the JoJo's game soon if we can.
Yeah.
Alright.
You guys have fun.
Alright. See you, dude.
I love you too.
I can't tell if Nodix just saying that to his girlfriend or not.
Oh my fucking! I'm so sorry. I forgot I was kidding.
That was right as Duke was about to leave.
Just let me know what Wisp does. It has to be brutal.
Oh, it will. They're definitely not facing any of that yet.
Think.
Okay, I know I've already said it twice, but I love the way I worded that message in general. Like, I thought about that during the Renegades a ton. During that one session when, Quentin, Purple Haze, there you go. I was, like, mad at Wisp for killing that guy with a gun, and then, like, 2 scenes after, Purple Haze, like, split a dude in half with, like, mind powers. And it's like, you're only mad because I have to do it with my hands, and you can just, like, snap your fingers. Like, I think it's just, a cool dichotomy, you know? Like, you can kill hundreds of people with little ease, and you're mad at me because I get my hands bloody. Like, I don't know.
Oh, was this you? Wait, was I there for that session? I don't know. I mean, I find it funny how hypocritical Purple Haze is a lot in the game.
Well, not just Purple Haze, but, like, in general, like, healers with powers mad at Wisp for,
I see.
killing people.
I get it.
Leave y'all to it. Have a good night.
See you.
See you.
I love Duke, but the only issue is I can't figure out.
This is on stream.
Oh.
You can check the
I
VODs.
don't know. I just remember there was like one time whenever.
No. It's fine. I mean, I like him. Toadflax. Toadflax. Clearly, there's a point of his character, but I'm like, why aren't you connected to the main villain, bro? Why aren't you connected to the main?
Dude, you tried so desperately. You tried.
I know. It's okay. It's okay. I know. The thing is, Duke's not doing that thing that some players do, where it's like, I have my own villain. Like, Duke's just like being based honestly about it. So that's the thing. That's the thing.
That was his excuse too. Like when we talked to him about it, he's like, I like how I'm so different from the group.
I like it though. I actually do like it.
Yeah, no.
I do like how he is an old man, but also I'm like, oh my god.
How old is he?
45?
He's holy shit. That's young, dude.
How old are you, Zach?
I'm 18.
Yeah.
Zach's a
You were 3
fat
when
liar.
the apocalypse started. I mean the real one.
No, I'm kidding. No, it was my character is shit. He's 35.
Yeah.
So he's also fairly old.
Yeah.
So when I heard him say all these young hunters, I was like, we're 10 years apart.
Yeah, we're
I
not
really just wanted to be
that...
like, bro, I'm 35.
Age gap is not that crazy. He's also not that stronger.
Did I take? I did take it.
But yeah. Is Gabe gonna be here for Turtles?
I don't think so.
I have no idea.
He didn't respond.
Yeah, he didn't respond. Okay, goodbye, stream.
Bye, stream.